Hi everybody, this is Sherry with upperdowntherebeautiful.blogspot.com. I wanted to show you some of the flowers that I made. Now, these are a lot smaller than what I normally make, and I'm trying to find something I can put to give you perspective of how tiny they are. I guess I really don't have anything on my table. Here's a spool or a bobbin for a sewing machine. So that gives you an idea of the size of the flowers. Let me see, I'll just sit one right there. So they're about the size or a little larger than a bobbin for a sewing machine. I had made some before and they were quite a bit larger than this, and they I painted them and turned them into pins for your blouse or your jacket or whatever. And but I had made them using my just pinching them in my fingers, and it drove me crazy that you could see my fingerprints. I had given some to Carrie Duff, and she's Duffer9904 on YouTube, and she loved them and was so sweet about them, but it just drove me crazy that she could see my fingerprints in them, because I wanted them to look more, I guess, porcelain looking. So I made some new ones, and I'll bring them up here a little closer for you all to see. Let me get it to focus there. There we go. So you can see, you don't see a lot of my, fingerprints. You can see occasionally where I pushed in with my fingernail or whatever. But that's what they're looking like, and I'm real happy with that. Now these ones I made and baked. This is one of my favorites. I thought it turned out really, really nice. Let me get it to focus there. I love the curls that I was able to put in the leaves, or in the, in the petals. But I did find a few things that worked really well for me, and I wanted to share them with you guys. The first one being my Cricut spatula, which you can see I was working on some today. This one, let me reach right in front of y'all. This one I made today, and I haven't baked it yet, but this is what it looks like, and I was really happy with how this one turned out. I'll just hit it right here where y'all can still see it with the ones that I already baked. But when I went to cut the bottom off, I've always used scissors, and it made it, well, I used scissors on some of these. Let me see if I can find one here real quick. This one. You see how it's got that little, let me get it so it'll focus there. It's got that little line on the bottom right here. Well, it doesn't sit level. It doesn't sit flat, and that drove me crazy. So I figured out that if I went, when I got done and I used my spatula to pierce through the bottom, it made it flat, so I didn't have that ridge, and it sits a lot smoother. I'm going to come out here just a little. Whoops, wrong way. Sorry, I'm not used to this camera yet. So that gave me a flat bottom, and I liked that. Now, I have been using, and this is just cheap, plain, regular baby powder, but I am going to be using cornstarch. I'm moving that so I don't squish it. I am going to start using cornstarch because I noticed that when I baked these, some of them got dry. Let me see. Let me see if I get up here. You can see that one. I want y'all to learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make them yourself. See the crack where it dried? I think that's because I used, one, too much baby powder, and two, I used baby powder. I think cornstarch would be better. And I actually found a recipe to make my own. It's called cold porcelain, because the original porcelain you have to heat to like 2,000 degrees. So I don't have a kiln, so I'm going to try cold porcelain, and when I get it done and I've figured out the technique that I want to continue to use, which Again, I think this is the technique I'm going to shoot for. I will, that's when I'm gonna get out my porcelain and give it a try. But I wanted to show you how I was able to roll this and not get my fingerprints in it and make the top, the edge so thin. And I loved that it was that thin. I don't know if you guys can pick up, if the camera will pick up how thin the edges are on the flower there. I love that it's like near paper thin. And what I did was I had bought a plastic container, and I guess you would normally put beads in it, but I store it. It was a nice size container, and I store some of my Stampin' Up! Punches in it. But it came with 8 of these little jars, and because it's elevated here at the top, the further up here that you put your clay, the thinner it gets, but it keeps this part back here thicker. So when you go to wrap your rose, you have a paper thin top, but a thicker piece at the bottom to wrap on. So it makes it, I think it makes it easier. And I was going to buy a rolling pin, but I didn't have any way to the store that day, so I used one of these, and I like it, and needless to say, I'm not getting the rolling pin now because I'm very happy. As a matter of fact, I will show you the one. It looks pretty rough. This, you know, is the top, and it still, you know, still comes off, and if I wanted to clean it up, I could, I guess. But I just put this on the edge, put my petal or my little piece of clay up here, roll it out, and you have to lightly coat it with baby powder or cornstarch. If you have cornstarch, I would recommend using that, so that it doesn't stick to this, and then you just use your spatula to help lift it off. And again, no fingerprints and paper thin petals. So once I get these painted, I will show them to you again. And once I get the technique worked out to the way I like, I will try them in cold porcelain. But I wanted to show this to you today and let you know what I was doing. So thanks for visiting me today, and happy crafting. Bye.